Have you ever felt like the world of business is this complicated, locked-off place, and you need some crazy expensive MBA to even get a peek inside? Well, what if I told you that's not true? According to Josh Kaufman's book, The Personal MBA, you really only need to get a handle on a few core ideas. And today, we're going to unlock the biggest one of all: how to create value.
Okay, this single sentence right here is basically the secret formula. It's the DNA behind every single successful business. I don't care if it's the corner coffee shop or a massive tech company. It's not about crazy spreadsheets or anything. It's just about 5 simple connected parts. You get these right, you're in business. You get even one of them wrong, well, it's just not going to work.
So let's really dive into this, because this sentence isn't just a nice little quote. It's a blueprint. It's a roadmap. It has the 5 core pillars that hold up any successful business, and we're going to break them down right now.
And here's the thing, these 5 steps are totally universal. Just think about it for a second. A local bakery creates value with a warm, delicious croissant. A software company creates value with an app that solves a specific problem. They both have to find people who want what they have, set a price, actually deliver on what they promised, and, this is key, make enough money to be able to open up the next day. This is the fundamental operating system of business.
It all kicks off with step 1, creating value. But that word value, it can feel kind of fuzzy, right? What does it actually mean? Well, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. In fact, it's really deeply human.
This is the core idea right here. Value isn't some abstract number on a spreadsheet. It's the solution to a human problem. It's about scratching an itch, satisfying a need. Whether that's a basic need like food and water, or something more complex like wanting to feel a sense of status or achieve personal growth. Anytime you solve a problem for someone, you are creating value. Simple as that.
Okay, so if creating value is the name of the game, how do you actually do it? Well, you can think of it like cooking. There's not just one way to make a great meal, right? The book actually gives us a whole recipe book for creating value. And today we're going to look at 4 of the most powerful, classic recipes that businesses use every single day. So our first recipe is probably the one we're all most familiar with. It's the product. This is the classic way of thinking about business. You make a thing, and then you sell that thing. It's tangible, you can hold it, you can touch it. The real magic here is all about duplication and consistency. You spend all this time designing one perfect version of something, and then you figure out how to make thousands or even millions of identical copies. That uniformity is everything. It means when a customer buys your product, they know exactly what they're going to get every single time. And that consistency is what builds trust and brand loyalty that can last for decades.
I mean, this recipe is absolutely everywhere. When you crack open a can of Coca-Cola, you expect it to taste the same whether you're in Tokyo or Toronto. That's product value. Crocs made a super simple, easy-to-duplicate shoe and scaled it to mind-boggling numbers, giving that same comfort to millions of people. Even something complex like a Segway is a product. It packages all this sophisticated tech into one tangible item that gives you a consistent experience. All right, next up, we've got a recipe that isn't about making a thing. It's about doing a thing for someone. This is the service. In this recipe, the value you're creating comes from your skill, your time, and your effort. At its core, this is all about expertise. You are the consultant who's solving a really tough business problem. You're the mechanic fixing a car that won't start. You're the graphic designer bringing a brand to life. See, you're not selling a physical object. You're selling your knowledge and your ability to use it. The value is intangible, but it's very, very real, and it's almost always built on a foundation of trust between you and the client. Now, unlike a product, you can't just hit a button and duplicate a service. Every single new client requires more of your time, more of your effort. A consultant has to personally work with each company. A plumber has to physically go to each and every house. This makes scaling a service a totally different challenge than scaling a product, but it's an incredibly powerful way to create value. Okay, our third recipe. This one powers some of the absolute biggest companies on the planet, and it's a model that's been around for centuries. It's the simple but totally brilliant act of resale. Now you might be thinking, wait a second, they're not creating anything new. But they are. Oh, they really are. The value a reseller creates is access and convenience. Let's say you're an apple farmer. It would be impossible for you to sell your apples one by one to millions of people all over the country. So instead, you sell your entire harvest to a big grocery store chain. That chain is creating enormous value by making those apples available right in your neighborhood. Giants like Walmart and Amazon are the absolute masters of resale. They are geniuses at logistics. They buy products in insane quantities, store them in massive, efficient warehouses, and build these incredible systems to get those products to you as fast and as easily as possible. They don't make the phone or the book you bought, but they create immense value by putting it right at your fingertips.
And finally, let's talk about our fourth recipe. Now, this one is a little more abstract, but I promise, once you see it, you will start noticing it absolutely everywhere. This form of value is called the option.
The value here is all about flexibility. Think about a movie ticket for a Saturday night show. You're not actually obligated to go, right? If your friends call with a better plan, you can just skip it. What you've really bought is the option to take that seat at that specific time. You've paid for the possibility, you've paid for the freedom of choice. And this recipe is all around us. A coupon in your inbox, that gives you the option to buy something at a discount. That non-refundable deposit you put down on a vacation rental, that gives you the exclusive option to rent that place for that specific week. You're not buying the thing itself. Not yet. You're buying the right to access it later under certain terms.
Okay, now here's where it gets really, really cool. The most successful businesses, they almost never stick to just one of these recipes. No way. They get creative. They start combining them, mixing and matching like they're playing with Lego bricks to build something much more valuable and much more interesting. A movie theater is a perfect masterclass in this. You buy the ticket, that's an option. Then you go buy popcorn and a soda, those are products. You might even play an arcade game in the lobby. That's a shared resource, which is yet another form of value. By bundling all these different types together, the theater creates a complete experience that's way more profitable than if they just sold one thing. So, there you have it. We've decoded the 5 core pillars of any business. And we've explored 4 totally distinct recipes for creating value: the product, the service, resale, and the option. And all of that brings us to the most important part of this whole thing. Now that you have these basic building blocks, this question isn't just for people who want to start a company. It's for absolutely everyone, because creating value is just a fancy way of saying solving problems. What frustration can you get rid of? What desire can you fulfill? What need can you meet for the people around you? Once you start looking at the world through this lens of value, I'm telling you, you'll start seeing opportunities everywhere.